If you have the right knowledge and all, then it's easy.
Knowledge is the liberator.
Yeah.
Okay. See, the thing is,
Just message.
she takes people to their past life and understand what they have done in the past life. Is it good? Is it important? You don't know. So you can find out what happened, what was there in the past life for your Snowy. Snowy is her dog. So they're good companions. Okay. See, the people like Mahavira, Buddha, they were expert in past life regression. Okay. They used a technique called Pratiprasava. It's called remembering the past life. Now, question is, by remembering the past life, what will you gain? What happens? From subconscious or unconscious, it comes to consciousness. That's all it happens.
Yeah.
So, when it is in subconscious versus when it's conscious, what is the difference? When it is subconscious, it is subject. When it comes to conscious, it becomes object.
It becomes an object.
So the life has to be, journey of spirituality is what is subject to make it
become
object.
Right.
That is the spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Understand? That is the crux of spiritual journey.
Correct.
And the problem is people don't understand this. So they do a lot of circus. Okay? This and that. So whatever is subject has to become object. Now what is subject for you right now? Is the body subject or object?
Subject right now.
How is it? Can you see the body?
Yes.
What you see, how it's a subject?
What
you can see, how can it be subject?
Okay. So it's an object.
You can see
It's
the
an
book.
object.
So, can't you see the body?
Yeah.
How can it be subject? Okay, it is an object already.
Yeah.
But you
You
have
believe that it is a subject.
You don't believe that you're subject. You have misconception that it's subject. That is because everybody refers you by body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And their reference you take it as reality. You never question whether body is subject or object.
Absolutely.
Okay. It is already object. It's not a subject. Is mind a subject or object?
I experience the mind. So again, having understood what you've told me, it is actually object, but we experience it as a subject. We believe, or that misconception that it's a subjective thing.
I want to understand who is that we.
Again, the self, which is
we,
watching.
we means how many people? We is a plural, right?
Plural.
So how many people are included in your we?
No, I would say I.
Don't include me.
No, it's me. I'm experiencing that.
And do you want to include her also?
No.
We?
No.
Why are you projecting your ignorance on the world?
Yeah.
For all you know, the world people in the world maybe experience life very different.
Absolutely.
Huh? So why are
all be enlightened?
They are.
Yeah.
Okay. So why are you projecting your ignorance on the world? You say I. Okay. That is more acceptable.
Yeah.
So now you say I experience.
Yeah.
What do you experience? What do you experience?
Well, I experience the world.
Obviously it's object.
Yeah.
When you experience the world, it's object, obviously. Right? When did it become subject? When did you make the object as subject?
Don't know. Maybe lifetimes. And even now.
The problem is object is made into subject. That is the spiritual
Understanding.
error.
Sure.
Error. The moment you learn how to make the subject as the object, you are free. Okay?
Yeah.
And that doesn't come from your any of the practices.
Correct.
That comes from the clarity of understanding. Okay, so you need to know deep inside there is actually our intellect is the final decision maker, right? There is senses, there is a mind, there is the intellect. The judgments happen at the intellectual level. Okay,
Absolutely.
but intellect makes error in the judgment.
Yeah.
That error leads to confusing subject with the object. Okay, so let us understand that error in the intellect. Okay, what is there? So now let me understand your criteria of what is subject and what is object. What is your criteria for a subject and object difference? This what your intellect is. When you explain the logic built in the intellect. How do you distinguish between a subject and object? You tell me a criteria by which intellect judges this is subject and this is object.
I think it is based on my pleasure and pain experiences with the world.
So the world is object, but the experience of world in terms of pleasure and pain,
Pleasure and pain.
is
We
mind.
judge, yeah.
Mind.
I judge. I judge. Yeah, so I judge based on the pleasure and pain experiences, again, which is a projection of my
So
mind.
experience, is it an object or a subject?
Experience, any experience.
Yeah.
It's actually an object.
Huh. Then how does the intellect judge what is object and subject? Huh?
When we call something as good and bad, when we say something is positive, negative, then we are actually having a subjective experience.
You are making judgment on an object.
As good and bad. Yeah.
But that judgment itself is not subjective. It's not a subject, it's an object only.
Okay.
This is good means what? This is good means what? I like it. Okay. That is, the like is what makes it subject.
Subjective. Yeah.
Now, is like subjective? Is like an experience? I like something, is it an experience?
Yes and no.
Why is no?
Yes, because liking or not liking is something that you're feeling or you're watching within.
Okay, so there is a feeling.
Yeah.
So there's a feeling
Uh-huh.
of uncomfort or a
Or
comfort.
comfort, yes.
Okay, the comfortable feeling is labeled as liking, uncomfortable feeling is labeled as
Dislike.
unliking.
Yeah, dislike.
So what is a feeling?
It's an experience.
A feeling is a sensation in the body,
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
experiencing in the body, yeah.
right? So we have a whole process of experience. I can say there's an object, there's a sensation that creates a sensation in the body.
In the body.
The sensation gets converted to a feeling. The feeling becomes a thought. Thought becomes a word.
Absolutely.
This is a cycle.
Mm.
Now, out of this whole cycle, what is the subject? Where is the subject? The world is not subject. The body is a sensation. The sensation is recognized as a like or dislike, comfort or uncomfort. And the liking and unliking is comfort as thought. Then there is a reaction. So in this whole process, where is the subject?
There isn't any.
There isn't any.
Yeah.
You are creating a pseudo subject
Yeah.
in the absence of
Subject. In the absence of a subject.
moment to moment you are creating.
Yeah. Because you can watch your sensation, you can watch the feeling,
Huh?
you can watch the thought and the word that is creating in the mind space or consciousness. And the reaction, therefore. So at every step you can watch. So you are apart from everything that is happening.
In reality, everything is watching only. But sometimes you get so engrossed in the watching that you think it is a subject. That engrossment makes you a subject. That I typically give an example. There's a cricket match, India and Pakistan. Okay. So last ball, and somebody 12 runs are required. Okay, so the Pakistani team, the strong player comes and hits 2 sixers and Pakistan wins. Okay. Now, there are millions of people in India watching. Next day morning you see 10 heart attacks. Okay, understand? Because they got so hurt that Pakistan team won.
Yeah.
Now look at this whole process. The Pakistan team which played, they got $5 million because they won. Indian team got $2 million because they lost. Okay, the stadium, they made millions of dollars by selling the ticket. The television channel made 600 crores by broadcasting. The advertisement guys made money by selling the advertisement. Now everybody made the money. This guy get a heart attack. Why? He didn't get a single paisa.
Yeah.
He didn't even lose money also.
Yeah.
But he got a heart attack. Why? He identified so much with the Indian team.
That, yes.
Okay. Why did he identify? What was the purpose? It's an object, he identified as subject.
As a subject. As if it was his own experience.
It is not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So where is the subject? Who is there to get enlightened? Again, this is a fabrication of the mind. See what mind does, it takes some bits and pieces of experience and stitches a story. It's a very good story maker.
Yeah.
What happens is, when you have experience of anything, there's a momentary experience. For example, you are seeing this body. Seeing this body is the momentary experience which you have. Okay. Now, my body posture has changed. So you are seeing some other body. It's a different experience. But every time when you see something, there's a feeling that I am seeing is created. The seer and seen created. Okay. They're part of the whole one story only.
Yeah.
So it's split into two. The seer and seen. And the moment scene changes, okay, the seer also changes. Now next another seer has come in picture. Because seer and scene are just images. But the mind creates a story that seer and the seer, even the scene changes, the seer is same. Which is not actually. It's already changed. Moment to moment, its seer is created, changed. But the real seer is witness has not changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mental image has changed. Mental image of a seer has changed. So now with this image, changing images, you are creating a permanent seer, which is not there. And that seer, who is a fictional character, is seeking enlightenment.
Right.
Now what enlightenment you are seeking? Who is seeking? Make all your experience of life as object. That is spiritual realization. It has nothing to do with you. If you learn this art, then moment to moment you live in enlightened state. That's all these people understood who are the great guys.
Yeah.
Everything is a happening. That happening we personify. If people don't personify, psychiatrists will not have patients at all. Every patient comes with a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Right? How many types of stories are there? I am a victim.
Yeah, yeah, that way, yes. Okay.
I am a victim.
Many stories are there.
No, not many. Well, classified only 2 or 3.
I am a victim is the most
I am
commonest-
victim is the most common
commonest,
story.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I am victim of circumstance.
Yes.
That's the biggest story.
Yes.
Right? There are some extreme cases, there are so-called narcissists. Okay, I am so successful, I am so powerful.
Everything is because of me.
Everything is because of me.
Yeah.
Okay? A victim story and narcissist story.
Yes.
Right? Then there is a regret story. I should not have done that.
Self-blame.
Self-blame. Guilt. So how many stories are there?
Hardly.
Hardly 2 or 3
Hardly.
are.
Yeah.
Is it? It requires some 6 or 7 years of psychology study, psychiatry study. There are 3 stories, and you fit for filling up these 3 stories. They feel take some incident, pick up. Only these 3 possible stories are there.
True.
Okay, and this is what human life is about. Mind is about. So if you look at this story objectively, that's what psychiatrist's job is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, for a patient it's a story, suffering. For psychiatrist, look at this patient objectively. So if you are also able to make the patient look at it objectively, he's free.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have a good patient lifetime.
Such a challenge.
It's not a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, the whole of spiritual practice, gambit of spiritual practices, is various techniques of making the person understand. Subject experience is not subjective; it's objective.
It's an object. Right.
And if you do this, your subconscious gets flushed, your conscious mind becomes pure, and even in dreams you won't have a illusion. Even in dreams, that clarity will be there. That's called enlightenment.
Yeah. Though this understanding is somewhere there, there is this struggle to be in that state always.
Who has this struggle?
Again, looking at it as a subject.
Ah.
Yeah, I should watch the struggle. And drop it. Just drop
So,
it.
have you heard of this practice called Vipassana?
Yeah.
You done that?
No, I haven't done it.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, there's a good practice. What happens is that there you see this entire chain of external object impacting you sensation wise, the feelings rising, the thoughts rising, this entire cycle is witnessed.
Right.
So what happens now, when you say I am trying to do that, you are not able to see the entire cycle.
Yeah.
A part of the cycle will be
somewhere is broken. Yeah.
So you have to learn the art of looking at this entire cycle. World, sensations, feelings, thoughts, reaction, action, result,
and back.
back.
Yeah.
This entire cycle, if you are able to see through, you are free.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you are doing for the patients is a part of their life.
Yeah.
Okay. You are making it an object. That doesn't solve the problem. It solves the problem temporarily.
Yeah.
But real problem is they are not able to see through this entire cycle.
Yeah. The sustenance of objectivity. Okay.
There is no subject. All subjects are pseudo.
True.
There is nobody. There is nobody in the world.
Then it takes back to the question, then why is all this happening around us?
Why not?
So it's just part of
if you have a question why, I will say why not? The answer is as good.
It's always a polarity.
No. For me it's not happening.
Yeah.
For you it's happening.
Yeah.
Then you tell me why.
So our purpose is to kind of...
Our means whose?
I think humanity's purpose.
How do you judge humanity like that?
No, to kind of change our perception from subjectivity. to
Our means
objectivity.
whose?
But is that not man's purpose?
How do you know?
For
Woman's
enlightenment.
purpose is different from man's purpose.
No, I'm talking about humans in general.
You are actually projecting what you have inside on the humanity.
Okay.
There is no such thing.
But isn't that everything what everybody else says?
How do you
All
know?
the gurus also, man's purpose or human's purpose.
How do you
Like-
know? In your dream, a person comes and talks to you. Is he a real person?
No.
And he talks very coherently.
Yeah,
And
clearly.
you,
Yeah.
right? There's a common transaction which happens. And you believe it's true. Was it not your own misconception or your own understanding projected on through that person's mouth?
Yeah.
So how do you think this is different from that? What makes you think that there's something independent of you?
Then you shouldn't really be talking about the Gita either. It's also a projection of Krishna and Arjuna.
It's a
Triveda
projection
Vyasa.
which is happening
Yeah.
because you are seeking it. I'm there because you deep inside there's a projection which seeks me.
Okay. Is that why you accept the Gita? The Bhagavad Gita?
I don't
Isn't that a
exist.
projection?
I don't exist. Anybody comes in your life
Hmm.
is because of there is a deepest impression which projects that person in front of you. In your dream, somebody comes, right, talks to you. Has it got real sense in that dream? Somebody comes and talks to you, your friend or something. It makes meaningful transaction that time. Why did the meaningful transaction happen? That was hidden impression in your mind.
Okay.
The hidden impression in your mind is coming in the form of me and talking Gita to you.
Okay.
The object cannot be separate from the psychological subject.
Hmm.
If your impressions are different, I'll be speaking Quran. Or I means you'll meet a person who speaks Quran.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Gita will not listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, what happens is that each of us has a higher self. The lower self is what? The higher self is what comes in the form of Guru to tell you. It's your own self which comes in the form
In the
of...
form of a Guru. Then how are you so sure that that is your higher self?
Who are you? See, what is for your upliftment? You will have inner clarity.
Okay.
The deep-rooted belief, the impression which created you, will also give the impression that this is the reality.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, this is not what is required for my life. Why are you projecting your experience on the world? When I say your experience, your mental experience,
Yes. Yes.
and generalizing it. This is another story which mind creates.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
That generations are not true at all. Even in simple audiences. I say all these people with this color are thugs. It's not true.
Yeah.
The psychiatrists are trained to recognize the generation and say, don't generalize.
Don't generalize.
That's another story created by the mind. So somebody becomes a victim of a man, male or female. Then anybody male is seen as a threat.
As a threat.
That's the generalization which creates by mind.
Yes.
So now why are you doing that generalization of the world?
Yes.
Thinking the world, there's no enlightenment.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what you do is, you take the pathological cases and try to remove the generalization from their mind. A person becomes a victim, sees everybody as a perpetuator. That's generalization. Somebody was abused in childhood, then everybody is seen as an abuser. That's the generalization. So by intervention, you are trying to help that person understand that this generation is not true. Right? That's what interventions do. That's the main intervention. Right? But what happens is, you are also having that, you are also doing that projection. Only difference is you don't have a pathological scenario. It's what is called non-normal. It's normal is not normal.
Yeah.
That is taken as a universal truth, which is not true.
Okay.
Understand? So that's why when Buddha got enlightened, people asked him, what did you realize? First thing he said is, with my enlightenment, I realized the whole world is enlightened. A enlightened one doesn't see unenlightened ones. They don't exist. Okay? But then why does he teach? Because somebody comes with a suffering. Like a psychiatrist tries to intervene and give him some solution. This person, okay, fine, you have a problem. This is But Neither problem nor the solution is real for the enlightened one. It's an alleviation. For example, you are a psychiatrist, a person comes and says, I am a victim. Okay? And cries and suffers and all those things. Understand? But is it real for you?
No.
Same thing is for enlightened. Okay. So, I'll tell you the spiritual evolution process, enlightenment process. So, most of the time, actually in the beginning of this thing, we see the sense objects as real, the physical. And that is reality is gripping. And we treat sense objects through body-mind complex. Okay. In that process, what will happen? The body-mind becomes me and the world becomes object. Okay. So, always we have a boundary, me and the world, me and the world. Okay. So, if I see through my eyes become a part of me and world becomes separate. The seeing and the seer, the duality come into picture. So now you close the eyes and enter into meditative state. Okay, then what happens? The subtle world opens up. Right? Thoughts, feelings, memories, it opens up. So now the thought, feeling and memory, it's an object actually. But what happens is because you get like some thoughts and you dislike some thoughts, you start getting trapped in that.
Yeah.
You start chasing that.
Yeah.
Understand? It's an object only, but it becomes subject for you. So meditation is a process by which the subjective experience you start looking at objectively, witnessing. Understand? So in that process, the moment you start doing that, some physical and psychological changes happen in you, deep inside. Okay? What is the physical psychological change? First thing is that subject becomes, first time it becomes an object for you. Then what will happen is the nervous system, which is designed for fight and flight, right? Nervous system is only designed for fight and flight.
Fight and flight, yeah.
Right? So that nervous system calms down. The situation is not fight and flight, it is non-threatening. Okay? When the nervous system calms down, what happens is there are several energies in the nervous system. They start flowing in a way which pushes the evolution of the nervous system one step. Okay. Now, if you understand that human nervous system is only designed for fight and flight, it's a war machine in a sense. That war machine, because of peace process, the war machine becomes idle. Now, that technology which has developed will be used for pushing the envelope of evolution. The nervous system, certain part of the nervous system which are not activated so far, start getting activated. Okay. They are not activated because your whole of your life is focused on fight and flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Only emergency mechanisms are pushing, but evolutionary mechanisms are not triggering up.
Absolutely.
So now what will happen is that energy which is freed will start opening up the evolutionary mechanism. Okay, which gives a holistic outlook to life. Otherwise, life is a fragmented outlook. Because life, any scenario in life is judged as threatening or non-threatening. That labeling drops. Now, when the labeling drops, the nervous system gets opened up for higher level evolution. So actually this process is in religious terms it's called surrender. Whatever comes you accept. Threatening, non-threatening. That's actually a word, people don't understand that. Internally what happens to your nervous system now no longer is judging any situation in the fight and flight scenario. So then certain energies in your nervous system open up and that energy is called Kundalini, which pushes the envelope of evolution. Ultimately, if you have to understand that You have to understand that the nervous system, our nervous system, consumes more than about 50 to 60% of the energy of our body, depending on how much carbohydrate, bulk of the carbohydrate goes to the brain. Right? It's like energy guzzler. Like in a computer, the central processing unit is the energy guzzler. Okay? So now that energy which is there, bulk of the energy is used for fight and flight. Now you have energy which is freed up from the war machinery. What will happen that energy will do? That energy will start building some new neuronal connections which will give a perspective of life which is not fight and flight. Okay? So that perspective is much deeper, much more encompassing than your fragment way of life. This is actually called enlightenment. So this perspective will emerge. Okay? What is it? Getting bored? Huh? Getting bored, you go. Okay? So this opening up is what they call as Kundalini. Okay? So ultimately enlightenment has a biological basis. Without biological basis, it is a concept. The ultimate, eventually it has to lead to the changes in the nervous system. A new neuronal connection have to happen. That is called enlightenment. Otherwise, it's just a conceptual living in fight and flight.
Yeah.
Right? Any questions? Now, what happens when this centers in the brain open up? That typically people call as God center or whatever is it. Right? I don't know whether you have read of a story or read of one lady who was a neurologist. She's a doctor. I think she was in, again she must be in the UK, I think. Suddenly she started seeing the oneness of life. Okay, all life seemed to be streaming in one flow.
She had a stroke.
No.
Is that the same lady with the stroke?
She had a brain tumor.
Okay.
Yeah. She had a brain tumor.
Uh-huh.
She started looking life as a one flow. What called divine experience. She was diagnosed for a tumor in the brain. When the tumor was removed, that whole experience went down. Right? So, our experience of life has a biological basis. Okay, neurological basis. But that neurological basis doesn't open up until you come out of this fight and flight mode of life. You look life in a neutrality. That's what surrender is about.
Right.
Okay. There are two stages in that. Once you start looking at life less of new fight and flight, but still individual sense of separation exists.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That individual sense of separation exists. Then you start living life as a single flow. That's called God relation. Because you are a part of the one flow. When you say you, some self-identity remains.
Okay.
That self-identity is a part of the bigger flow. That's called devotion.
Okay.
So finally a point comes, that self-identity drops.
Also goes.
Then it's called liberation.
Right.
So it goes through a stage of devotion, bhakti and liberation. Any questions?
So it all starts from witnessing.
Ability to witness. Ability to witness.
Ability to witness.
I have written a book. My first book was on witnessing. Can you give that person? This is my deepest realization. That's why I wrote the book name called Miracle of Witness Consciousness.
Okay.
But they're all set up. Want to go? was a Zen master. The student came and asked Zen master, okay, is enlightenment difficult or easy? What did Zen master say? What did Zen master say?
I don't think he said anything.
It is neither.
Yeah,
Both are concepts only.
both are concepts.
So then the student says, how can you say that? Buddha worked for 500 lifetimes for liberation, okay? And he says 500 lifetimes he worked. What does it mean? He asked the Zen master. Then what does Zen master say? He said, he must be dreaming.